Hey there. Okay. This is actually going to be a real quick one. This is just a little part two to the last video about the running and chasing being distorted energy. And I realized right now that I didn't mention anything about the positions that our twins are in regards to the twin that is in the ancestral karmic family dynamic. Okay. And this could go along if our twin is involved in a, a karmic friend dynamic where there's a bunch of friends that they just can't get out of this karmic energy, and our twins that are in the family, the ancestral karma, the family bloodline stuff, the whole, the whole dynamic where they're like their whole family is controlling them, have to people please all of them. And I wanted to bring this up because in the other construct where the masculine is the runner, the masculine usually is talked also about being in that situation with the karmic. Everybody is always like the masculine's with the karmic. Well, that's not really true. The masculine might be with the karmic, the feminine might be with the karmic, both of them might be with the karmic. My twin is in that ancestral family dynamic, that karma, that bloodline, lifetimes and lifetimes of control. That's the situation that my twin is in as the feminine. So, this is just another variable I think that needs to be talked about, along with talking about the runner and chaser energy being the distorted energy. Also, a lot of times when you hear the masculine, feminine construct that the masculine has the karmic and they're stuck with the karmic and they can't get out of it. That's also, in my opinion, just not true, because that doesn't, being in that situation doesn't really describe the energy at all. It just describes the situation the person is in. So it's kind of a bit of like a crossover. And so I just want to bring that up real quick because my twin is the one that's in the ancestral karma family dynamic where, everybody depends on her. And when I say everybody, based on what she told me, it's her mother and her children, and, the whole family is her karmic. She told me before actually that they didn't, she's like, I don't want to do that. I want to be happy. And they're like, well, you won't be happy unless you do it this way, so it's kind of like, just this, and I know a lot of people where I live out here that are like this, where they think that you can't be happy unless you have what people think you should have, what society says should make you happy. And that was one of the conversations that I had with my twin. We had this conversation several times. It was really bothering her. And so if you're watching this and you're the twin that is not in that, locked into that karma, you're clearing your twin. And that's one of the reasons it's so difficult to be on the other side of this. But I must say, I've really thought about this a lot because I've gone through so much. I mean, any twin flames are going through a whole lot of stuff, all of the ups and downs and roller coasters of different emotions and the different times of the year and this different astrological positions, and all of that stuff seems to be really affecting us. And I've watched a whole lot of videos that tie in the astrological placements with what we are going through, and man, I will say this has been the hardest year in my entire life when it comes to like emotionally. It's just been so hard. And the other thing that was difficult about it is the really high highs and the really low lows, and how clearing anger and sorrow can come on like a snap of the finger. Like all of a sudden you're clearing it, and then even strangers that all of a sudden it's gone and you feel fine. These ups and downs. It's like I kind of call it the the bipolar twin flame experience. We have this. We are clearing, and it seems to be very bipolar. And I'm sure that a lot of people that are twins understand, like, if you're not bipolar and you're not diagnosed as bipolar, and you know what I'm talking about, I'm sure there's a lot of people, because I've never been bipolar, but I felt bipolar this last year, absolutely. And so, yeah, I just want to bring up a couple of those things because it goes along with the runner and the chaser um, distortions and clearing all of this, family baggage that our twins are kind of stuck in. And like I said, I've really thought a lot about this, and I think that my twin is not only having a harder time than I am, um, but is it's harder on her because she can't just break free of that. This has to really build up. There's a lot of build up, and it's not easy. I mean, I remember several, like 10 years ago, I had a group of friends, and I could not have got rid of them if I tried to. There was a lot of guilting involved. There was a lot of just mind games and guilt trips and I did this for you, so you owe this to me. And it was like, well, I had to slowly move away from them where I was like, not hanging out with them, 2 days a week, but hanging out with them 5 days a week. And then a month later, I might be hanging out with them 4 days a week. And as this was happening, like, dude, you're becoming, this sucks. You never want to hang out with us anymore. And I'm like, well, you know what? I've hung out with you 3 days this week. If that's not enough, I don't know what to tell you. But it took a long time for me to be able to say that. For a long time, I made excuses of why I couldn't, and I have this to do, and this is important. But the truth of the matter is, I remember trying to come up with excuses. What am I going to say? And to live like that is very difficult. And that's why I think a lot of twins are people pleasers and empaths and stuff like that, because it seems like pretty much anybody that I know in this journey is understanding that. So just think about how hard that was before you broke free and had your awakening. And then think about the build up to it. Like it was like 10 years ago I went through that, but it wasn't until like a year ago that I had a mass awakening where I was just like totally blown away with how the way my reality changed. But slowly but surely I began losing more and more friends. And what happened was our vibration wasn't on the same frequency anymore. And so I would lose a friend and lose another friend. And then I would lose friends that I wanted to lose because they really never did anything for me. There wasn't actual love. It was, you know, um, codependency, so, and then also getting divorced, breaking up with girlfriends, and then having another, woman that I dated that was like a step up, but then finding out I had problems there, and then exposing all of my negative qualities also, because a lot of the things that I remember about the people I was around and the things I didn't like about them, there was equally something about me that they wouldn't like also. I mean, we're not perfect. It takes a lot to get through this. So cut your twin a little bit of slack, and it is okay to give them a healing. It's not like you have to be connected to them all day long, and you don't even have to heal them to the extent where they're using your energy to stay with the karmic. You don't have to do that. You can actually decide what you're going to heal. You can decide that you're going to help your twin, get through this and get the courage and align themselves into the proper position that they need to be so they can get out easier. You can help them manifest that. So there's nothing wrong with healing them. I don't agree that you should always be giving them energy all the time, but whether you know it or not, you're actually clearing a lot of their stuff right now. So um, anyway, yeah, the masculine and feminine energy, both the masculine and feminine energies are going through both twins all of the time. And we talked about that before too. The energy is tempering. It's going around to the one twin, and then they simulate and get through it and train, and then they resolve. There's resolve in that energy, and then it comes to us, and then we have to resolve, and then we resolve new stuff, and they resolve new stuff for us. Now we resolve the stuff that they resolved for us, because don't think that your twin is not resolving things for you. Your twin is resolving a lot for you. And sometimes when we get frustrated, like we feel like our twin is doesn't want us or isn't doing anything to move, and they're just waiting and all that kind of stuff. Understand that if you're not with your twin, you're not ready. There is no twin that is more or less ready. There's only the illusion that you're more ready. And that is the most truth I could speak right now. I've heard from so many twins, well, I'm ready. I'm ready. No, you're not ready. Because if you were ready, you wouldn't even need to have your twin because you would have inner union and you would love yourself even more. And that's one of the things I'm noticing after going through this. I love myself way more than I did a year ago, way more. And I can only imagine that in another year, I'll love myself even more. And the more I love myself, the less needy I feel, the less the less amount that I feel like I need my twin with me in the 3D because I'm happier. And that's really what we're after. We're after happiness. We're after joy. We're after freedom. And so being able to not be with your twin in the 3D, but still feeling freedom, that's a manifestation that we all really want. A lot of people think, no, I got to have my twin. You have an idea that it has to be a certain way. But the truth of the matter is the only way that it has to be is the way that's going to bring you happiness, joy, and freedom. That's the way it has to be. Because as you start to morph into this happier person, you start to realize that you're less needy, that you don't need them as much, that you don't, not that you don't want them, of course, and not that you don't love them, but that you don't need them right there, And that's something I really didn't think I was going to get through last year. I was like dying because I wanted to see her so bad. So I just wanted to give people some stuff to think about that, it's okay to support your twin. Your twin is supporting you, whether they know it or not, whether you know it or not. And that the ultimate prize in this entire thing is not to actually be in union with our twin. It's to be happy, joyous, and free. And then if we're lucky, with our twin. That's the whole thing. Because when you think about it, when you try to manifest certain things, when you begin to create and manifest things, there's something like maybe an object that you want to manifest. You have to ask yourself, are you trying to manifest that for your ego? Is it like some fancy car that looks badass so people could see you in this cool car? Or is it like you want this car because it's going to be comfortable and you're going to be able to go on a 500-mile trip and not hurt your back? What is it that you're really trying to manifest? Comfort, freedom, happiness, or just showboating? The glitz and the fame and all that stuff. Those are the things that your ego thinks is important. Those things, the things that give you status. If you're trying to manifest status, you're just living in ego, and you have to take a serious look at that. And if you're trying to manifest happiness and joy, that's going to be a lot easier to manifest. And one of the ways that you do that is by clearing all the distortions that I keep talking about. Because every time you clear a distortion, that's a blockage that's gone. That's energy flowing. Like when I got rid of my karmic, my main karmic, which was actually my office manager at my office, was my karmic, one of my karmics. And we were not involved with each other intimately, but we worked together for 5-6 years, so maybe even longer than that. So when I finally, and it took me a year to get rid of her, a year to prepare and get my energy up and be able to face her and say, look, you got to go. She had what I thought were secrets on me. So I didn't want to, just fire her and then be, exposed for things that I thought were secrets. But the truth of the matter is they weren't secrets anymore because I started talking about twin flames and started talking about the energy and all this other stuff. So I had a huge fear of people knowing that I'm sensitive and intuitive and a healer. And I felt like vulnerable if somebody would know those things. And so I was afraid that she would say, he's crazy, he's a whack job, he thinks he's psychic and all this stuff. I had that kind of fear. When I finally got rid of her, and talk about manifestation, the day that I was going to fire her, the day she quit. She didn't know I was going to fire her. I didn't tell her I was going to. She came in and quit and saved me all kinds of, just a lot of energy. I didn't have to go, a lot of things I didn't have to do when she did that. But what I noticed mostly about it is right when she quit, and it was fine because I was going to let her go anyway, but right when she quit, I had some fear. My chest got real tense, and I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? Because now I was in the unknown. And the place of the unknown is amazing. If you're in the unknown, go into a high vibration. That's the place where you're going to be able to manifest the most powerfully. The unknown, that's where you want to be. And what I remember is after I felt a little bit of that fear, I was like, you know what? She's gone. It's finally over. Thank God. It was a huge weight off my shoulders. And I felt this energy just start to flow. Like the energetic blockage was gone and energy was just flowing and manifesting, manifesting. And what I've done, she's been gone since January. So it's been like almost 10 months. The amount of things I've done with my business and changes that I've made since she's been gone is absolutely unbelievable. I'm not going to get into all of it, but if I told you all the changes that were made and everything that is different, and from everything from revenue to how much energy I have to how much time I have to do sessions and healings, it would be hard to believe that I was able to accomplish it. But it was because my energetic blockage was gone. And so when we're trying to manifest that for ourselves, we want to mirror that to our twins too. Because we're not actually trying to manifest an item or an object because that's what we want. The truth is that we want joy and freedom. That's what everybody is after. And if an object can get you closer to joy or freedom, or if you believe in the illusion that an object will get you closer to joy and freedom, then that's what you want to manifest. But the very first thing you want to do is make sure you're not manifesting something for your ego. And all you have to do is ask yourself, why do I want this? And if the answer is because you're going to look like a badass, or people will like you or think you're pretty, or give you compliments, that's not going to, all that outside validation isn't going to bring you the happiness that you're really looking for. The happiness that you're really looking for is going to come from inside here, and it's going to come from source. That's where it's going to come from. And that's where the freedom is going to come from. And I just want to really quickly explain about the alignment, okay? When you start seeing a lot of threes. And so when you're in alignment with your higher self, and you're in alignment with your higher power or God or source, when all of those three things align, what you start to notice is that what you want is you want to fulfill God's will. You'll start to notice yourself saying in your prayer, like what I do, God, bring someone to me today that I can help for you, and allow me and help me to, do your will instead of my own will. Let me know what your will is so I can work for you. And you start to realize that that brings you so much more joy than anything you ever thought that you wanted. I can't even believe it. Like, there is no object that can make me happier than fulfilling what I believe God's will is, which is to help others. So I just thought that that would be just a good, simple part to kind of get into some of that stuff. So everybody, take care.